Imagine leaving your country with one suitcase, a few family photographs, and no clear idea of when or whether you will ever return. You arrive in a place where the language sounds unfamiliar, the food tastes different, the streets follow new rhythms, and even the way people worship may be unlike anything you have known. In that moment, religion may become more than a set of beliefs. It can become a memory of home, a source of courage, and a way to remember who you are. Migration changes almost every part of a person's life. It changes where people work, how they raise their children, the language they speak, and the communities they depend on. It can also change the way they understand and practice religion. At the same time, religion can strongly influence how migrants respond to uncertainty, loneliness, discrimination, and the difficult task of building a new life. This relationship matters because migration is neither unusual nor temporary. People have always moved because of war, poverty, education, employment, marriage, political pressure, or the hope of finding a safer future. The refugee movements into Europe during 2015 brought the subject into intense public debate, but the deeper story is much older. Whenever people cross borders, they carry more than passports and possessions. They bring values, memories, customs, languages, and beliefs. One of the greatest mistakes societies make is assuming that every person from the same country or religion thinks in the same way. Religions are not fixed packages, and cultures are not perfectly uniform. Two migrants from the same city, family background, or faith may have completely different relationships with religion. This diversity is important because integration is not simply a process in which migrants abandon their past and copy the majority culture of their new country. Real life is far more complicated. Most people do not completely reject where they came from, nor do they refuse every part of their new environment. Instead, they adjust. They keep some traditions, change others, and slowly create an identity that connects more than one place. In some cases, moving to a country with a different religious or secular culture can make migrants feel more strongly connected to their original faith. This does not happen to everyone, but it is understandable. When people feel surrounded by unfamiliar customs, they often hold more tightly to the parts of life that feel safe and recognizable. A mosque, church, temple, gurdwara, or religious community center can therefore become a home away from home. It may offer familiar language, food, music, clothing, prayer, and social behavior. More importantly, it can provide friendship and dignity. A migrant who feels invisible in the wider society may feel recognized inside a religious community. Their skills may be appreciated, their struggles understood, and their families supported. These communities often provide practical help as well. Religion in this situation is not only about private belief, it becomes a social network, and for some people, an important survival system. Religious rituals can also help migrants recreate a feeling of home. A room may be decorated in a familiar style. Traditional clothing may be worn. Incense may be burned, sacred music may be played, and prayers may be recited in a language connected to childhood. These actions can transform an ordinary space into somewhere emotionally meaningful. This process does not necessarily mean migrants are refusing to integrate. Feeling connected to one's roots can give a person the emotional stability needed to face a new society with confidence. People who know who they are may be better prepared to learn, adapt, and participate without feeling that every change represents a personal loss. Problems can arise, however, when migrants experience constant hostility or exclusion. When people are repeatedly told that they do not belong, they may retreat into communities where they feel accepted. Religion can then become a defensive identity rather than simply a spiritual one. In extreme cases, alienation can make vulnerable individuals more open to rigid or radical ideas, especially when those ideas promise belonging, purpose, and respect. This does not mean religion causes extremism, nor does it mean that a strong religious identity is dangerous. Most religious migrants live peacefully, obey local laws, contribute to their communities, and want stable futures for their families. The real lesson is that humiliation and isolation can deepen social divisions. A society that wants successful integration must create room for participation, dignity, and fair treatment. Another important point is that migrants do not stop belonging to their countries of origin when they move abroad. Their identity may be national and religious, local and international, old and new at the same time. A Pakistani Muslim living in Europe, for example, may feel proud of being Pakistani, committed to Islam, loyal to the country where they now live, and deeply connected to a local European city. These identities do not automatically cancel one another. Human identity is capable of holding several loyalties at once. The influence also travels in both directions. Migrants are shaped by their new societies, but they can also influence religious life back home. They may introduce new ideas about education, gender roles, community leadership, charity, law, or relationships with other faiths. Religion therefore moves across borders even when buildings and institutions remain in one place. The experience can become even more complex for children born or raised in the destination country. They may speak the local language more fluently than their parents while still inheriting religious traditions from home. Many learn to negotiate both worlds, sometimes facing pressure from family, friends, and wider society to choose only one. Yet they do not always have to make that choice. A person can value the traditions of their parents while fully participating in the country where they were raised. In fact, many young people create new ways of expressing faith that combine inherited traditions with the realities of modern life. Understanding this complexity is essential for governments, schools, employers, and local communities. Policies built on stereotypes are likely to fail. It is not enough to label people only as Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jewish, religious, or secular. Policymakers need to understand how belief, family, class, language, nationality, discrimination, and personal experience interact. Religious literacy does not mean agreeing with every belief. It means understanding that faith can shape daily decisions, family relationships, food, clothing, celebrations, grief, and ideas of right and wrong. When institutions understand these realities, they can communicate more effectively and avoid unnecessary conflict. Migration can be painful, but it also reveals something powerful about human beings. People are capable of carrying home within themselves. They can preserve what gives them meaning while learning how to live in a new world. They can honor the past without becoming trapped inside it, and they can build new loyalties without erasing old ones. The goal of integration should not be to produce people with no history. It should be to create citizens who feel secure enough to contribute, confident enough to adapt, and respected enough to belong. When societies make space for both identity and participation, migration becomes more than a story of displacement. It becomes a story of resilience, renewal, and connection. People do not arrive as empty pages. They arrive with memories, beliefs, wounds, talents, and hopes. The wisest communities do not ask them to forget all of that. They help them turn it into strength. Migration can reshape faith, identity, and the meaning of home. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more thought-provoking content. Thanks for watching.